This post is called, "What Condition is My Condition In?" Right? Because we need to understand something, that the condition that you have physically comes secondary to the condition that your mind is in. Never forget that when you're treating clients, talking to students. Very important, okay? Now, I was talking to Andrea, and I was telling her, never discredit an emotion. Never discredit an emotion. We were talking out in the hall, and we were talking about how we become drug addicts, addicted to alcohol, addicted to foods that have drugs in them. And I'm saying, I wouldn't have missed any of it for the world. We came to experience everything. But the deal is some people don't get out of the fire. They stay there until they're completely burnt up. All right? I don't regret anything that I've done. Now, for some people listening to this, even on Facebook or wherever, you don't have any regrets. What kind of person are you? I'm the kind of person that's going to let myself off the hook, because I understand something. If I'm going to come down to a planet that's contaminated, corrupted, and conflicted, then I'm going to become that. You can't swim in a bucket of poo and not get any on you. So I need you to understand that everything you've been through with your kids, your husband, your family, cherish it all. When you learn to love yourself and to know and understand the game down here, your traumas become your celebrations. When your traumas become your celebrations, that's the only time you're ever going to be set free down here, and you are going to own your destiny, and you are going to feel passionate about your life. And when you understand something, every tear that you've spilled, if you truly believe that you are an infinite being, that when you want to come down here and experience emotion, this is the planet of emotion. And emotion, energy and motion. I want to experience, if I'm coming down to do something, don't you want to experience A to Z? But the problem is that what if there's certain groups that understand that we come down to experience emotions, and they've learned how to master their emotions to control ours? Welcome to planet Earth. You just got sucker punched. So now, your mommy and daddy, your grandma and grandpa, they've all been sucker punched. So who is going to break the family curse? Who's going to be the family blessing? Who's going to understand something? You came down here to fall. I will make maybe 100 mistakes here today, and I don't care if all of you judge me for it. Go right ahead. I love you anyway. I'm just going to have a smile on my face and say, I got this. I'm learning. Remember something. The only person that hurts another person is a person that's hurt. I'm not hurt. I can't be hurt. Oh, you can, what's that? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And those names are all the emotions. They're not going to hurt me. I learned a long time ago, I came down here to master emotions on this planet. That's what this planet was for. I'm a universal traveler, collecting information and experiences. And guess what? Your subconscious collects all your experiences and habits. And then it formulates that, and then you become your prominent beliefs. No, you don't. You become mommy and daddy's prominent beliefs. You become the system's prominent beliefs. You become corporations' prominent beliefs, unless you're living in the present moment, focused right here, right now. Until you can tell me that you are in the present moment putting your pants on and you're not unconscious. Every time that you drive to work and you go, I can't even remember the drive I just did, then you know you don't own your subconscious. Did you get what I just said? When I do something, I am the buttoner. not my subconscious. We talked about this earlier. Tell me one time that you were talking to me and I was somewhere else. I'm always right here. Because this is the only place I can experience anything. Oh, wait again. This is why this is about this. What condition my condition is in, that depends on your beliefs. And that depends that if you want to change your condition, Karen, you better be here right now. You can't heal anywhere but here. You got so many regrets and so much fear for the future, you'll never have a healing. You can't. You'll never have one. I didn't say you'll never have one. You'll never have one with those beliefs. It's never going to happen. You cannot heal in a different time zone. You have to be in the present. You will not heal. So the condition that this is in is more important than the condition that this is in. Otherwise, you're blessed right now. Otherwise, what's your physical disorder? Your physical disorder is only a side effect of your emotional disorder. And if a clinic, a health practitioner, does not come that way first and foremost, then they will never be their true healing self. It's impossible. Yes, I use energy medicine, but you are the greatest energy medicine to ever exist on this planet. You are energy medicine. So I said we'd talk about conditions. So what conditions do you want to talk about? And then we'll talk about how we would look after them. Let's go. That's what we said. So, yeah.
Trichonteric bursitis.
Trichonteric bursitis. Now let me just say something. Bursitis is bursitis. Mm-hmm. And do you know what? How hard is it for you to remember that? How hard is it to say that?
It's hard.
So who made that up?
The doctors.
That's right.
Because
and
it's
then that will be,
that position is where that.
Well, I understand that. I know, but hold on a second. Mm-hmm. Okay. Why couldn't they just say that you've got inflammation just off of your hip?
They could have.
No, they're not going to. Because guess why? Because you know what? You're so dumb. You wouldn't know how to look after yourself. So let's use Greek. Why? I know. We should. How many here speak Greek? Well, you were just in Greece. Okay. All right. So fibromyalgia is Greek. But it just means what? Pain in a muscle. Polymyalgia means pain in many muscles. Oh my God, I'm going to die. I've got polymyalgia. Really? Pain in many muscles. Well, you're a pain in many of my muscles. Okay? Sinusitis. Oh my God, did you hear? I have sinusitis. And he said it's chronic. I'm going to have surgery. Well, why don't you just leave alone the inflammatory cheese and the dairy, okay? And everything else that you're doing. And guess what? Even a deviated septum we know can be fixed, right? We showed that. You can fix pretty well everything. But if you're a doctor, you can't fix anything, can you? Have you went to school for 20 years? And what was that word again you said? What was that word that means that the bursa in that part of the body is inflamed. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, I understood that.
I know, but. So why don't we stop playing their game? Let's stop playing their game. Did you ever notice the drug names they have? Xylopatad. Wow. That's gotta cure me. What? Xylopatad. Yeah. I just need to be on that with milotititad. What? And then, people will say this to me. Well, I'm on this drug and it's like a new word because they're making one up every week, right? You don't know what if you don't know what that drug is, then you can't be a professional, Dr. Wolfe. No, I'm not a professional drug dealer. Never said I was. Do you understand? So they try to humiliate everyone. And it's all about humiliation. It is. Yeah. How would you like it if you went to school for 10 or 15 years and you came out and you finally realized that you wasted 10 to 15 years and you've got a mortgage on your house? Would you protect the lie? Would you live with the lie? Well, maybe that's why these guys don't live that long. Okay, all right, so conditions. So you've got inflammation and a bursa off your hip, right? First,
Me.
no, a person. Now, do you see something? Did anybody notice throughout the whole course that she takes everything personal? And she's always trying to defend herself. So guess what? She gets attacked a lot in her personal life. All right, how am I doing?
Good.
Okay, all right. Okay, so when I talk from now on, even if it's her, I'll be like this. So, and I'll look over here. Because every time I try to talk to her, okay, now, so inflammation of the bursa, which means we first got to look at putting the fire out. Well, let's use some water. So let's see if they're even drinking water. Let's also, guess where that is? Just off the hip. So we know that there's constipation probably in the cecum. And the cecum is leaking waste. So let's make sure the bowels are moving. Then let's go in with our elbows gently and map out the area to find out if there's scar tissue formation, crystallization, calcification. And guess what? We win. Just probably with those things. And then talking to them about what real food is. Right? And that's what you do. And you can also use essential oils on the area. Right? If it's not red and inflamed, it'll help to bring it down. I would just maybe use some muscle restore. That's gentle enough, right? Okay. All right. Anything else? Let's just keep giving me conditions.
Congestive heart failure and
Well, one at a time. One at a time.
it's the same thing, guy.
Yeah, I know, but well, okay. So he's got congestive heart failure. What else does he have?
I don't know if it's related. It's psoriasis.
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 Okay, so here's the deal. Congestive heart failure, right? Broken heart, empty heart, right? Listen, my father had a quadruple heart bypass, right? Quadruple, all right? And I'm never gonna have a heart problem. When I was younger, I always thought I was gonna have a heart problem, right? You know, I would go out and I'd go drinking and I'd come home and I could actually feel my heart stop and go, and I just went, and yeah, like I wasn't trying to kill myself. All right? Okay. That was just yesterday. No, it wasn't. Okay. So I always thought because he had heart disease, I'd have heart disease. My mother, she died of throat cancer. So I thought I'm going to have that too because I was a smoker back then too. Right? So, and as long as I kept smoking or and if I didn't know that the subconscious creates all diseases, then if I didn't know that, even though I'm a health practitioner, would probably still think I'm going to have it, right? When we know that there's no such thing as genetics anymore. There isn't. That's already fallen off the cliff, but try to get that out of someone's head. I could even tell you that, but I guarantee you tomorrow you're going to go, what? My mother's got it. I'm going to have it. Well, the only thing that you've got is the same dysfunctional belief, right? Okay, so anyways, so we know that congestive heart failure, but you have to understand something. Whatever the emotion is, it helps to create the diet and the life around it, doesn't it? So you have to understand that. So there is diet things that he can change. We won't go into that part. We already know what they are. You go to the Perfect Day Guide, you start there, and then whatever the person can handle, you start with intermittent fasting, then you do 1 day a week fasting, then you go into 3, then you go into 6, and if you can get them, if they're way overweight and really toxic, you might have to go to 18 or 21. I've had people go as high as you might even know them, from the farm there that have done up to 36 days with me. All right, I think I had one person go 42 up there, 42 days fasting, but it was water fasting, but it was enhanced fasting using our fulvic, using the ATP. Okay, also doing the ultimate coffee enema, which you're going to send them to the library. Because if you want to really get your health together, you need to embrace coffee enemas. You have to embrace them. If you want to emotionally detoxify all those toxins and the anger from the liver, okay? So anyways, back to him. So congestive heart failure, he's had his heart broken so many times. Is he married right now?
No, he's broke or divorced.
Ah, there you go. So, and how many times?
Just the one.
Okay, how long did he live with the person?
I'm not
See,
I think they were divorced for maybe 2, 3, 4 years or something.
yeah, okay, all right.
Or married, I mean.
So where the congestive heart failure comes in is where you feel unworthy and you're so hurt you can't have another relationship or you can't honor yourself and love yourself. So the diet, of course, is going to come with the vibration. Okay? All right. And the condition, psoriasis, well, we know it's a fungal infection. We know that it on a physical level, it's created in the large intestine from the antibiotics he's been doing and from the alcohol and the sugars he eats, right? And from the glyphosate he doesn't know he's taking in. But in reality, a rash is different. There's a slight problem. What's gotten under your skin? When it's psoriasis, what's under his skin? What's gotten under his skin? People have gotten under his skin. Emotions have gotten under his skin. He's gotten under his skin. All right? Next.
If they have a...
But you always got to go to the bowels. Understand something. On a physical level, you've got to do the water, you got to do the large intestine cleansing, you got to do the liver cleansing. You've got to get them into the perfect day diet and then get them into the fasting for perfect health. Get them to read that guide and start doing it. This is the only way you're going to save yourself. Understand something. If you're not willing to embrace fasting in today's lifestyle, because why fasting? Jesus fasted all the time, even up to 40 days. Fasting's mentioned 77 times in the Bible. It kind of leans towards it because it's a big deal. But when you fast, that's when you tap into your spirituality. Did you get that? Okay, because the more you remove the physical from your life, you understand? When you no longer focus on the physical, you will heal. Because you are a vibrational frequency, light being. And if you can't embrace that in this course, well, then good luck with it. Because what you see in the mirror is not even 1% of you. But it's what you use so you can eat, feel emotion, have a good dump, make love, climb a tree, ride a bike, tell a story, right? Get a tattoo, get a haircut, right? Smell food, eat food, touch, be touched. All of this is why you have this. This is the experience. You came down and you wanted this physical experience. That's it. It is not you. This is just a movie. You're the director, you're the writer, you're the producer, and you can change it anytime you want. So today I'm the victim, right? Yes.
So if they have a defibrillator put in, can they get that taken back out if they have congestive heart failure and their heart?
First of all, look, you know what? That is really that's a loaded question. First of all, emotionally, is the person ever going to change? My gosh, for one thing, once they start putting foreign objects in them, you know that they're already hooked up to the medical system and the medical system wants them. It's like a disease. Anybody that starts losing parts, you're owned by them. Anyone that they start putting parts in, they're never going to stop. This is an entity. This is not a human being. And understand something. When you get that far, you're running a self-hate program. How can I stop you from hating yourself? I can't. You have to first recognize you have a subconscious that has hate beliefs in it and that you're unworthy. You know, the only time that you're going to give up pieces of yourself is when you're unworthy. Here, take it. Doesn't mean anything to me. The only time you're going to rot something out is when you're going to leave it out and you forget about it, right? I'm going to rot out. What? Because I'm going to stagnate. Oh, your life is stagnating? Oh, my mind is stagnating. So now my life will stagnate. So my food will stagnate. So now it's going to stagnate. So now I'm going to putrefy and I'm going to rot out. Every disease is a body part rotting. Why do you think when you go to a nursing home, it smells like soap and pepperoni? The pepperoni is the fungus. The soap is them trying to hide it. The older you get, the more you smell. That's not true. Only if you're the majority. Are you going to change your ways? Okay. Are you going to stay stinkweed or are you going to become a daisy? Next.
Okay, I have a client. How do you work with someone who's been on antidepressants for 25 years and obviously their body is shot, their mind is shot?
Their body's shot, their mind's shot, antidepressants for years. For one thing, you have to understand something, and I know I don't want anybody throwing Facebook rocks at me, but you can't be on drugs or alcohol for years and not be possessed by other things. Low vibrational things pick up things they don't need. But you know what? You got to ask the person, okay? You got to get into a Braveheart consultation. Yeah, you got to go right in there. Well, you saw some of the consultations I've done here, right? How long did it take me before I woke somebody up? 10 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's how, are you going to do that? Or are you going to go in and go, I know you've had it so rough, you know? That's not what they need.
Yeah.
And they don't need to be punched either. That's not what I'm talking about. But what they need to know is, guess what? They were created by God Almighty. And they have the power to heal. And they have the power to feel totally loved every moment of the day. And I want to give that back to you. Do you want it? Or did you give up? Do you want to die? That's the first thing I say to people. Do you want to live? I don't say, do you want to die? I say, do you want to live? And they'll go, yeah. That means they don't. Why don't you want to live? Then I'm going to say, why don't you want to live? Because that's what that was. Did you hear how you answer sometimes? I'll say something, or you answer, you answer, and you'll go, and you can hear the subconscious is right there in the background, right? Yeah. No. We need you to stay on these drugs, because when you're on these drugs, nobody can hurt you. And we don't like when you get hurt. So maybe you're numbed out, but at least, you know what? Your life isn't being threatened anymore. And look at all the attention you're getting. Remember how you were waiting for your husband and your children to fill up your heart? I could say wife and children, so I'm not saying it. Okay. Guess what? Now you're getting all kinds of attention because everybody believes that you can't be helped. So now they're going to do whatever they can for you because you're a cripple. Now we're getting all this attention. But the person on a conscious level doesn't know this is even going on. Right? It's like when you go to somebody and go, did you see the way you just talked to me? Nobody has a clue. Because unless you're in the present moment, which means that you are coming up through your heart and processing that way, if you process through your mind, then you're out of your mind. You don't even know what you just did. And you will do anything to protect it. That's who I am. If you don't like it, why don't you just leave? How about that one? Have you ever heard that one, Hope? If you don't like it, why don't you just find someone else, Hope? This is who I am. Now that's somebody who can't even get in the present moment or even process through their heart. So this person with the drugs, I just say, first question is do you want to live? Do you believe that God has deserted you? Do you believe that there is a God? Do you believe you're worth saving? Do you feel that you failed your family? These are the questions. Get them to start talking. And then if you can show them how dysfunctional their thoughts are, not them, because their thoughts are not them. When you're not totally in love with yourself, then that is an alien thought. That is not you. That is something else. That was your mother, your father, or society, or some system. You can't live your destiny or your passion unless you're going to totally love yourself. And that's called self-love. which most people say that is me selling conceit. No, I think that, you know what I think, Beth? I think that you should love yourself maybe about 60% and hate yourself 40%. Now, I just gave you the actual percentage that I think that are going on in you. You won't give up the last 15%, Hope.
Yes, I am.
You haven't yet.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. I like that. See how she gets in my face? That's important. Because she's not getting in my face. She's telling her subconscious, there's a new sheriff in this body. And it's called total love, and I'm taking it back. And I know I'm going to have to stay on my guard for a while. Stay connected to my breath. Because when you stay connected to your breath, you stay connected to your creator. And your creator is beyond total love. As I've already stated before, you don't even know. We don't even know what we call love from our creator. We're like, what are we like? Inky Dinky Schnitzel House. We don't even know what that is. And what is love down here? Love is an ingredient. It hasn't fixed the world yet, has it? It's because you got to stir it inside yourself. It's a self-serve job. The only way you're going to get your tank full is if your tank full. And that's that. Like it or lump it. What other conditions you want to talk about? Crohn's. Well, there's the best one. You got colitis, which is inflammation of the large intestine. You got Crohn's, which is total inflammation of the small intestine, and it's where you are eating yourself and eating holes through it and making it into a screen door. And then it can even be called lead pipe disease. And Crohn's is when you I really don't like myself. I hate my life. So go ahead and destroy your small intestine. Now you've destroyed the ability to absorb nutrition improperly. And now you've got big gaping holes because guess what? You have what we call, you only have 1 cell thick. 1 cell thick. That gets replaced every 24 hours. But it'll only get replaced so often. If you keep burning it out with inflammation through foods and through emotion, it will not be restored. And we call that leaky gut. And you have these tight junctions where the cells are really tightly together and they allow the nutrients in, but not the food particles and the poisons. Guess what? Crohn's disease is where you're going, I am going to rip my intestine apart and I am going to absorb tons of toxins that will flood my body and create numerous autoimmune diseases. I'm going to tell you something, and you'll find Crohn's happens in younger people than older people. I hate myself, so I'm glad that they decided to do Crohn's instead of suicide. And if you think I'm kidding, I bet you that I have probably consulted probably over 150 to 200 teenagers who were right on the verge of suicide. And turn them like this. You are not your parents. You are not your parents. And what you think society thinks about you is totally wrong. They just don't understand they're beautiful. They've tried drugs usually to try to change their personality, alcohol, drugs. They've tried cutting themselves to show everyone that I will cut myself because I'm unworthy and I will show you that I don't deserve to live. And if none of that gets the attention that they need to make the changes they need, they will kill themselves. So I'd rather they opted for Crohn's. At least we've got some hope here to get in. And blue light is adding to this whole thing. You think that there's trouble in the schools now? Wait till 5G gets into all the schools. You haven't seen anything yet. The atomic bomb is coming. Any other conditions? Thyroid. Two-terism. Now we know that iodine is needed. We know that there's more radiation out there. So I would tell that person they better get on Divine Vine. They better be doing things like maybe Divine Vine and Iderol, right? But first of all, what about connecting to your breath? You give me a person with a thyroid problem, I'll give you somebody that every day the end of the world's coming. Every day they're anxious. Be safe when you go to school, Johnny, please. Are we going to have enough to feed everyone? That's where thyroid problems are coming from. This whole thyroid problem is blown right out of proportion. As soon as they started marketing fear after 911, thyroid problems went up through the roof. Why don't you just go do your homework and find out? Because what they did is after 911, corporations and the media said, holy crap, we can actually control the whole population. And guess what? Every year since 9/11, they have increased sales, prescription sales, by 20% by increasing their marketing through the media on terrorizing people. And that's where the thyroid comes from. Thyroid storm, well, that's when you've just been terrorizing yourself completely. I bet the same person has trouble sleeping, don't they? They go to bed at night and they go over everything that's wrong. So we got to look at the emotional side, then we can look at everything else. But I'll tell you, it's all about connecting to your breath. It's all about calming down. It's all about getting on a really good whole plant-based diet, right? And that's when we need to root them and ground them, right? We're not going to fast anybody with a thyroid, especially thyroiditis problem right away, right? Because that will just blow them out through the roof. But where's the 3, 2, 1, I got this? Where's the connecting to my breath? You know what? Do you have thyroid problems, Clara?
Yes.
Like that was a big guess. You terrorize yourself continually. And everybody sees it here. We lovingly see it, right? Lovingly see it. You make it up. Now, you didn't tell me you had a thyroid problem, but I knew it was you. And thanks for being brave about it. But understand something. Wouldn't you like to know that it's your thoughts that are mainly responsible so that you are the one that's in control? And not like having the world tell you, well, there's nothing you can do about it. Just get on this medication. That'll be it for the rest of your life. Would you like that one better? I bet you would, because we have been taught not to take responsibility for our health. We've been taught to opt out of living. Thanks for asking. That's very brave. And you know what? Stay connected to your breath. Smile more. Speak your mind more. Have faith in the moment and have faith in the wonderful goddess called Clara. Have faith in her and watch how things change. Next.
Like birth defects. This baby that was born with an underdeveloped eye socket that won't supposedly grow with the rest of their face now.
Well, I don't believe in that. I'd get them on Oslo Jr. right away. Okay? I'd also be using some of the Life Crystal products right away. I'd be using like the Bioptron light right away. And that's not true. And guess who said it? Do you know who said it to her? Who said it? A medical doctor. Who's only based on surgery and drugs. Why would I go to a narrow-minded practitioner for an open-minded answer? That's the first thing. Let's get that perfectly clear, and I'm not trying to attack them. I'm just saying. The other thing is nobody wants to hear this. Birth defects are mainly caused in the womb. And it's usually caused because of terrorism. Take a look at the relationship. Take a look at the relationship between the mother and the father. Take a look at the relationship with the mother and her parents. The responsibility, I'm sorry, goes on the woman. You decided that you wanted to be a woman, but the main responsibility is on the woman. You need to protect the child. And as soon as that child comes into the womb, that child is alert. Everything that's said, everything that's fed, everything that's read is going into that child. And the fathers out there, well, first of all, just because you can get your pants off doesn't make you a parent. Second thing is the fathers out there better wake the hell up. When they're terrorizing, going, there's not going to be enough money for diapers and food because they don't understand abundance and they coming from lack, or they're beating up on the wife physically or emotionally. That's where a lot of birth defects come from. As human beings, our greatest honor is to bring life onto this planet. And with every honor comes responsibility. And when one of the things called bringing life to this planet is one of the greatest honors, it is one of your most important responsibilities. If I was the king of everything, you would not be allowed to have children until you learn how to totally love yourself so that you do not hurt or harm your wife, your life, or the child. And you know, corporations know this. The systems out there know this. And they know that if they can keep us all dysfunctional. Think about it. Your first child, you didn't know how to feed it. You know you loved it. Your relationship was dysfunctional with your husband or your boyfriend. Don't tell me it was functional. You were giving the wrong rules. You were raised by parents that were adulterated already. And look at, you did a great job. Every one of you that have had children, with what you were given and how off track you were, you've done a wonderful job. But just think, if we actually took the teenagers of today and we got them to totally love, honor, and respect themselves and actually know who created us, why we were created, and that we create every moment that we breathe, and that with every heartbeat, we get given a new chance to start over. And that our vibrations of everything we say, think, and do go in, and that beautiful thing that we call a fetus is picking up everything, everything. It's picking up even your thoughts. They know this. Don't believe me, go study it. We are miracles, and we can be miracle makers, but not until we love, honor, respect, and protect ourselves, because that's what we will give. We can't give what we're not. Next condition.
Arthritis through the whole body, but specifically crippling the feet and the hands.
Well, the feet and the hands, they get the last bit of the circulation, don't they? Right. And instead of having thyroiditis, they've got arthritis. Mm-hmm. So what happens if you're terrorizing yourself and you're not flexible? What? You got joint problems. And arthritis, here we go again, freaking Greeking, right? Arth, joint, itis, inflammation. Inflammation of the joints, big deal. You give me anybody with any arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, and I'll have it turned around within days to weeks. Money back guarantee. Let's look at the emotion, and then let's get rid of the crystallization, scar tissue, return the calcification back to the bones, which we can do for the first time in history. Nobody has to have osteoporosis ever again. You need to understand something. Corporations have no beating heart. They have no emotion. They don't give a crap. They will take you piece by piece. They have a bottom line. They have investors, and they have investor meetings. And they need to figure out how to increase their bottom line. Why don't you do some research on the Cancer Corporation and find out how they've been increasing every year their advertising to increase their profits. All right, so you can run for it, jump for it, scream for it, beg for it. It's not gonna happen. Okay, if they're still searching for a cure, they're telling you that they're never gonna find it because there's too much money in it. Don't you dare hand me a pink ribbon. Don't you dare ask me to run for you. Don't have your kids knock on my door and ask me for money because they're going to run for the cure, jump for the cure, skip for the cure. Don't you dare. If you want to become a hero, then save yourself and become the light for your family. Don't follow the herd. Next condition.
Juvenile diabetes.
Juvenile diabetes. Well, we do know that diabetes can be triggered even from cheese, right? Dairy's the biggest one when you're younger. because not everybody is just born with it, okay? We also know that it can be caused because of trauma. Yeah, family trauma, all right? And I will tell you that right now, there is a boy, I think he's 26, and he has juvenile diabetes. I think he had it since he was 3, okay? All right? And his insulin levels are almost gone. And that was taking the SAC calcium. I've never seen a lot of juvenile diabetes turn around, but you have to understand why they don't. Because you're allowed to eat any way you want and then inject yourself. So that's it. Anybody who has juvenile diabetes is totally being abused and used, and they don't know that their subconscious has been programmed, so now they can eat anything they want. It's like the person says, I had gallbladder problems, and instead of doing coffee enemas, right, and cleaning up my diet, I got them to cut out my gallbladder so I could continually abuse myself and not feel it. So now you're gonna get colon cancer or heart disease, because now you can't break the fats down. So understand that. Juvenile diabetes is a cash cow like cancer to the medical system, okay? And then you keep doing the insulin until you lose your toes, your feet, your legs, your arms, your eyes, right? The whole thing is corrupt. So as far as juvenile diabetes goes, it's right in line with cancer. It's one of the biggest cash cows. You know, in Kelowna, they just quadrupled the size of the dialysis units. They just rebuilt it because that's how fast it's going.
Yeah, it's growing fast.
Yeah, it's one of, and the other thing is we know that the kidneys get knocked out when you're scared that you're going to have to live without something, because you hold on to your urine. Okay?
If we take them off cheese, what kind of treatment, like where would we work on their body with the elbow?
Well, first of all, if they have arthritis all the way through their body, okay, let's take on the worst joint, because right away they don't believe that you can do it. So I would take on the worst crippling joint, and then I could show them that within a half an hour on that joint, or that finger, or that wrist, or wherever, I'm going to show them that I can reverse 60 to 80% of it,
Start with
the look of it.
lowest pain. Okay.
Yeah, and I would go in there and do it. Well, there's not going to be a lot of pain probably. They're in pain because of the actual scar tissue crystallization, calcification, blockages that aren't letting the energy flow through the body, the lymph flow and the blood flow. So, you know, it's like beaver dams all over your body, and then asking yourself why there's no nourishment getting anywhere, why there's cellular constipation.
Yeah, this little girl's 9, and they found out about her juvenile diabetes because her lower back hurt all the time. So I think that would be where I'll start. Ow, my back hurts. So they took her to the doctor.
Yeah, but did you look at her bowels? Go take a look at her.
She's not my kid.
I know, but I'm just saying, go look at her bowel movements, and they are a mess.
Yeah, yeah.
They are a mess.
Okay.
Okay, so the population that has the worst bowels are infants. Well, not infants, but young children. Shouldn't have said infants, older. It's young children, because that's when you start giving them treats for being good, because you're so corrupt.
And really bad treats.
Yeah, and you poison them. Here, honey, you've been so good, I'm going to poison you now.
Here's a goldfish.
Yeah,
cracker.
yeah. And then them and the elderly. I mean, you can't go to a nursing home and sit down at breakfast without somebody saying, did you poop today? No, I haven't pooped for 10 days. And they medicate the hell out of them because they don't want to hear their complaints anymore, because nobody's going to do the ultimate coffee enemas. And you know what, you guys, really go to the library and learn how to do the ultimate coffee enema. It's right in the perfect fasting for perfect health. And really, utilize that with your patients. Get them to read the book, and then get them to go to page 35 and take a look what a perfect day diet is. And then get them to go and watch the 12 self-loving steps video, right? I mean, if you guys don't incorporate the 12 self-loving steps when you get home, forget it. You're never going to change, right? So understand something. The only reason you are the way you are today is because corporation says we're going to spend enough money to actually program you to kill yourself. So now, are you going to go home and spend enough time to program yourself to love yourself. It's going to be difficult because you're programmed to kill yourself right now. Tell me you're not trying to kill yourself on some level, Karen. Andrea, every one of you. You all are still. Okay? Unless you have total self-love, which only 1 out of 10,000 people accomplish, because this is what? This is planet Earth, which is a what?
Fun-filled, life-threatening adventure for the whole family.
Yeah, a fun-filled, life-threatening adventure for the whole family. We all bought a ticket. Okay? All right? What other condition?
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Is that a condition?
Carpal tunnel syndrome, well, everybody's going to have that. We know that the circulation's poor at the end of the extremities, right? And guess what? What happens? Let me ask you a question, Stuart. So if somebody's always terrorizing themselves, right? Then that means that they're releasing adrenaline, and if they do it on a continual basis, they release cortisol, which then causes crystallization and pulls calcium from the bones and causes scar tissue formation, right? Now, if we're doing that all the time and it pushes the blood and everything else out to the extremities, what are we going to have in the extremity joints? Crystallizations. So, okay, but then we also do the computer thing, right? Or we do the game thing, right? Okay, so you know wear and tear disease, there's no such thing. You only have wear and tear disease when you don't have a balanced diet, because whatever joint is getting moved the most is going to get worn out when your diet is a riot, causing contamination, inflammation in your body. Are you with me? So that crystallization, scar tissue formation, and calcification that's in this wrist, we're going to go in there with our elbows and we can reverse what? 20 minutes? Okay, and then we're going to teach them about using DMSO. We're going to teach them about using the muscle restore. We're going to teach them about vascular flushing, 3 minutes warm, 1 minute cold, doing it 3 times. Do that 3 times a day. Boom, we win. What about the dairy? Should we get them to stop it? Even though should we get them to stop dairy when dairy is the main cause of cancer for foods in the world? Isn't that something? Isn't that something? All right. And should we get them off the gluten? Should we get them off the crackers? Should we get them off the bread? Should we get them off the alcohol? What about all the other stuff? How busy would I be if I came into your house and took a look in your fridge and your cupboard right now? Huh? Would I need a big box or should I get a big truck? Huh? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Do you understand? Okay. So you need to understand that you're a drug addict, right? No, I'm not. I don't do drugs. Yes, you do. I can guarantee you that somebody that has an all-natural diet, okay, and decides to do, you're going to think I'm just crazy. A hit of acid once a week, which is not good for you, is a lot better than some of the stuff that's in your fridge and cupboard. And I can prove it. But we're going to legally allow you to poison yourself. Being the government and the corporations, we're going to decide what we're going to let you do. If it's made by us, you can take it. And if it isn't, we're going to take you to jail. Okay. What other condition?
Autoimmune hepatitis.
Autoimmune hepatitis.
That's really funny, right? I just got that phone call a few days ago. I'm in the hospital. What's wrong? I have autoimmune hepatitis. You just said.
So understand something. I could have hepatitis right now, but nobody's ever going to know because I don't go to doctors. And the hepatitis could be living in me, but never ever affecting me. And understand something. Whether you want to believe this or not, every virus, every bacteria, everything that exists on this planet is in your body right now. You will only give it rise with the emotion links up to the virus, because everything is a combination. So I'm going to tell you, I lived in Nova Scotia. I would come in, okay, with ticks right in my skin, and I'd pick them out. There was tons of ticks there. I never got Lyme disease. I'll never have Lyme disease. I'm not going to have any disease. I'm not going to get a disease, guys. But you will. When you're not at ease, you're going to get a disease. And the disease will depend on the dysfunctional vibration signal you're putting out from your emotion, which was created from the thought, which was created from the image that you hold for yourself. End of story. Can't make any money off of that. Oops. Kind of screwed myself there. I take it back. I'm going to have to get them to cut that off. So what we would do is, it depends on the age of the person, depends on their ability, right, to listen. Okay? All right? Okay. So you know what? Remember the scare? Don't eat out. You could get hepatitis from the cook. That went away. Don't eat out. You could get AIDS from the cook. That went away. It's amazing, eh? It's amazing. So when the media advertises it, you're going to get it. So the more they advertise something, the more you're going to catch it. You heard what I said, and I meant it. Are you a victim, Clara? If you're a victim, you're going to get it. If you're a Braveheart hero, we'll call that 0. Because let me tell you this, don't believe me, but there's religions out there that they have venomous snakes that will, when they bite you, you should die. And they do it. And it's right on YouTube. And they bite them. And guess what? They believe so much. But they believe as a group, which creates power. And the snakes don't bite them. I mean, the snakes don't kill them. Also, they will drink things that should kill you instantly. And they'll drink it. And it doesn't harm them. Because together as a group. Now, let's all us do it. I'm going to go out and get a poisonous snake today. Right? And then, Clara, we're all going to visualize that you're going to be fine. And then we're going to let the snake bite you. Okay? Are you in? She wouldn't be. And guess what? We would need everybody in the room to totally believe so much that you really believed. You know how somebody goes, I know I'm going to win the lottery. And then there's a little thing in their mind that goes, no, you're not. Right? You can't have any of that. Just like, you know what? Hope, you know why you don't have what you want yet? Because you've got, no, you won't. Daryl, I know who I am and I'm going to have it. And then she walks out and a little whisper comes in, but I can't hear it. I'm back here in this room. No, you won't, Hope. That's the only reason you don't have it yet. Why do I have what I have, guys? Do I get everything I want? Yeah, but I'm also compassionate to myself and patient. I know that it's not going to change right away. And guess what? The universe also says, listen, hold the faith and I'll give you what you want. Because guess what? If I gave you what you wanted right away, you'd all be dead. I hate myself so much, I wish I was dead. Wow. Why do you think God gives a bit of a brief moment? God, I wish you were dead, Clara. Oh, shit. Do you understand? Just breathe. Be patient and know it's coming. Your job is A, I'd love this. I want this. I feel for this. Z, already see it, how it makes you feel. When you think about it, that's all you're going to do. Wow, this is how this is going to make me feel. And leave everything else up to the universe, your creator. And it will be, I swear to God. I swear to God. My God, not your God. But don't we all have the same God? Yeah. Okay. What other condition?
Herpes.
Herpes. Well, that's your fault. Let's move on. No, I'm kidding. I've got herpes. I didn't know I had herpes. But then I fell asleep in the sun. And after that, then I started getting cold sores. And you know what I did? I bought, you know those solar blankets? Okay, so here's the deal. I was in college, right? And I didn't like I remember the afternoon, and I didn't like what was going on there because I always had somebody take notes for me if I didn't want to stay. So then I went out to the cemetery, right? And I laid down on my solar blanket and I fell asleep, and that was it. And then I got a sunstroke. After that, then I started getting cold sores so I was getting stressed out still, but now I stressed my body so much that the herpes came up and went, yeah, he gave us life, right? So then I had cold sores for many, many years until I started really loving myself. So I already had the virus. Everybody in here has herpes. Everybody here has that baby has herpes. Stress that baby out enough and you'll find out.
Okay, so how do you get rid of it?
You don't get rid of it. You don't get rid of it. You bring up your immune system, right? And it never shows its head again.
But for like a client asked us.
Well, yeah,
For
well,
the
humic
No, it's for the
humic
STD
acid.
STD herpes.
Okay, first of all, you want to do the humic acid, right? You'd also want to use the Bioptron, right? You would get the element because that's more deeper, right? Lips are not the same as the lips downstairs. And they have two different emotions, don't they? One is more sexual. So there's a low vibrational sexual emotion going on, isn't there? Okay, so this person may never want to talk about that, so we're not going to deal with that. But we're going to, again, the humic acid, right? Okay, even spraying the humic acid down that area. Doing even vaginally the humic acid, like the fulvic eye drops, they're clear. And using that along with silver gel, right? And along with using essential oils and making a combination of that for infusion. Frankincense, that's right. There's lots of things. What about cleansing the bowel? What about the water they don't drink? So first you got to cover your bases. We'll do local treatment, and then we can do oral treatment, all right? Or vaginal. All right, but we need to take a look at the bowels too, don't we? They got to be flowing. Everything's got to flow. Emotionally, physically, get the flow going. Bring up the vibration, right? Again, what are you going to do? Perfect day. Fasting for Perfect Health Guide. How about the 12 loving steps? But then you're going to have trouble too, because there's a lot of people out there that believe that self-love is a sin. So what are you going to do with that? Well, you don't touch it. You don't even try to talk to them about it. You just try to reach them on their level. My job is not to change the person. My job is to help the person become what they'd like to become. My job is not to sell what I believe, is to give them what they think they can achieve. But they'll only be able to achieve what they believe, which is based on their prominent thoughts.
On the lips, if you put a dab of DMSO on a Q-tip, it stops an outbreak immediately.
Yeah, as long as you don't put too much. It has to be not a dab. It can only be just so small. And I like to do, before that, I like to do our Thieves Plus. Because guess what? DMSO for you works. We put DMSO on some people with a herpes outbreak and they get a blister. They get a blister and it blows their mouth up. So I would go with Thieves Plus and no, I'm not going to injure them. It's too much energy because the herpes is a lot of energy, negative energy, and then you're bringing in positive energy and it can blow it up. So just for you, yes.
Yeah, it does for me.
I would just watch it.
Lysine, so amino acids are very important.
That's right.
SON formula.
SON formula. That's a big one. But the SON formula, you have to understand something. You know how they talk about genetics and the genes and the DNA, RNA? Well, it's none of that. It's all about the amino acids in your cell. Your amino acids in your cell are actually your genetics. And that's why we really promote the SON formula. That's why we promote the ATP Plus because of the life crystals and the SAC calcium. You do those three things, always, they're a go-to for any condition. Because it's all about the health of the mitochondria, right? And your mitochondria are in every cell. And when you've got damaged cells, you've got damaged mitochondria. Any other condition?
Lichen sclerosis?
Lichen sclerosis. Okay. So who has it?
My daughter.
Okay. How bad is it?
It's
Where?
down here.
Yes. How old is she?
She is 40.
Yeah, okay. So let's take a look at her bowels right away. And then let's start doing things to reclaim that tissue. And so what are we going to do? We have to do infusion, don't we? You got to go right to the area. Okay? But you got to do the bowels. And her diet, she's never really taken a look at her diet, has she? Does she
She
drink?
loves cheese.
Okay, that's it. Then there's no hope. If she's going to keep up, if she's going to do the cheese, we're not going to turn it around. Okay? Because people will say, well, I don't drink milk anymore. I just do cheese. Well, that's the concentrated milk, right? And then yogurt, you could give me a yogurt, the best yogurt made, and I would throw it in the garbage because it's not good for you. Okay, that's another fallacy. Okay? Yeah, so how often does she suffer from it?
Well, when she was talking to me about it a couple years ago, it was like a lot. And the itching was very, very bad.
So what's going to happen
Very
is,
severe.
yeah, so we do know if there's itching, what's going on, fungus, right? Okay, so that all comes with the territory. She got to look at her bowels. If she's not willing to change her diet, you know, we can go vaginally, we can work the area, but just know we're only going to put it back on simmer. We're not going to turn it around because you're talking about tissue repair. You're talking about mitochondrial repair. So we're talking about not intensity, but consistency, living a better life, honoring and loving yourself. She's not doing very well in that part. And sexually, she has a lot of sexual emotional dysfunction. There's a reason certain things happen where they do. It is your body. It is your spirit talking to you in concert. Next. Are we good?
I have one more.
Okay.
My granddaughter has bad posture because, well, I don't know why, but she grew tall, so we didn't know if she was shy and was bending herself over.
First of all, there's no such thing as shy. There's such thing as lack of confidence. Okay. All right. Where was I? I think I was, I was in the airport. And there was a little girl, and she dropped something. And I went to pick it up. And she went like this. And I went, it's okay. And her mother goes, she's just so shy. And so I gave it to her. And then just as I got up and I was walking away, I went into the mother and I went, never say that again if you want her to grow up and become her authentic self. If you would like her to always lack confidence, okay, and miss out on life, keep telling her that. And I walked away. Now, why did I do that? Because I want to be a terrorist? No. If it was about the mother, I wouldn't have touched her. But she doesn't have a choice. You know when they say you always have a choice? You don't have a choice. You might have picked your parents. I'm not sure about that one. But children don't have choices. They just have terrorists. Okay, most parents are terrorists. God loved them. My parents were terrorists, and I loved them. I couldn't love them more. But I'm going to tell it like it is. You do know there's nothing voodoo that comes for me, right? I'm going to say what I say. I'm going to live the truth. My truth. So there's no such thing as a shy person. There's just one that has lack of confidence because the parents have taught that child that. I know, but I just want to say it like it is.
Yeah.
You know, but then people go, well, Daryl, just move on. Yeah, you made your point. Now talk about her body problem. Don't talk about the emotional stuff. So anyways, her shoulders are rounded because she lacks confidence. And guess what the mother did? The mother said, round your shoulders because you're shy. And protect your heart. And that same mother had her heart torn apart. And the mother's trying to teach the daughter, protect your heart because you're never going to get love. I've never found it. How am I doing?
I think so.
Yeah. Now, but there's a physical thing because energy creates mass. So the emotion creates the shape.
down with generations. For you.
Okay, first of all, nothing's handed down. It's not like, I guess, you know, you can call it handed down, but the reality is, do you actually think that you're going to live with me and you're not going to pick up some of my habits? If we eat together, do we eat the same? And do you know that when a child is born, even before they're born, up until the age of about 6, okay, that they are human sponges, that they live in an imaginary world, and that everything that you think, say, and do, Stuart, your child takes in as gold? No matter what type of emotion it is, what you say, what you do, they become that. Right? Why do you think, where do you think a child learns how to have a tantrum? From the parents. But they get punished for it. So then that's the first time that they realize that love is not unconditional, it's conditional. And that, guess what? If I act like mommy and daddy, I'm going to be punished for it. When actually they were just trying to act like you so that you would give them more love. We're kind of messed up, eh? All right. So what is she going to do? I don't know. On a physical level, get her a foam roller. Start foam rolling, okay? But I'll tell you right now, she's going to have to just focus on her breathing and focus on keeping her shoulders back, right? But the problem is, that's not, how old is this girl?
16.
Okay, but the problem is, you've got to get the parents in line with this. If you're just trying to tell the girl that, why don't you take a look at the mother's shoulders? How's her shoulders doing?
Probably the same.
That's right.
My son and the mom are divorced, so they're, not together anymore.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, though.
Yeah.
Okay? If I was being raised, okay, and my whole family was hunched over like this walking around, how would I walk? Okay, all right. If my whole family hated East Indians, what would I feel? Okay, if my family believed that terrorists were going to come from other countries that can't even afford a plane ticket, but they were going to come and destroy us, and we talked about that all the time, what would I believe?
That.
All right, okay. Isn't that what's going on?
And I'm thinking her mom's dad is kind of tall and he's humped over also.
Yeah, it's a problem. The taller you get, the more humped you are because...
Well, There's a lot of tall people that aren't.
Oh, really? Oh, there we go. Now we just figured something else out new. So that's it right there.
Well,
And short people live in little homes. Okay. All right. Now that we got that settled. All right. Thank you, everybody on Facebook for joining us. And we're just going to be finishing up our 21-day course here. And if you ever want to join us for a course, if you're not scared yet, I would be very scared. Check out itioh.com and just have the best day of your life, because guess what? You're allowed to do that. Okay? Have a beautiful day.